Welcome to Meet Clint. I'm your host, Clint Calabrese. Today, we're talking about the environment. Matt! That's not helpful.
Are you sure? Because I spent a lot of the budget on disaster footage.
We all know the environment is in danger, and has been for quite some time. That's not exactly breaking news anymore. I'm not here to sugarcoat things and tell you everything's gonna be okay, or terrify you and make you feel powerless. Rather, today, we're gonna focus on things that we can actually do, right now, right here in New Jersey, to help heal this planet and preserve it for future generations.
It's my guy.
To get things started, let's meet Don Torino, president of Bergen County Audubon Society, and learn about the importance of native plants.
So this is our butterfly garden, but also it's an educational area for anybody that wants to come and learn about the importance of native plants, learn about butterflies, and learn how they can restore the habitat in their own yard. Well, here's native honeysuckle. You can see the honeysuckle here. If you stood here long enough, you'd find hummingbirds on the honeysuckle. Now, we're in the height of migration now, and these little birds are migrating all the way from Central America, South America, could wind up right in your backyard. And so unless those native plants are there, it could look green and lush and really not have any value to the wildlife. It would be like you going into ShopRite and you're hungry and you go down the produce aisle and all the food is plastic. And it was here yesterday. There is a big cocoon, moth cocoon on here. Oh yeah, that's it. Right, you got it.
So what is it?
It's probably a cocoon of Cecropia moth or Polyphemus moth. They use this tree as the host plant. That'll change into a big, beautiful moth. And unless these plants are here like this, you know, they won't exist. Over 500 species of Lepidoptera, that means moth and butterfly species, will lay their eggs on that tree. The acorns are important, but it's really about the insects. So 500 species of insects that the birds are coming to eat. So imagine if you had 500 species and then you put in a non-native tree like a Bradford pear, zero. Bergen County Audubon has a certified wildlife garden program. All we're really looking for is a diversity of native plants. And what we're trying to do is create stepping stones in the migratory route. So many things, become really tough for the average person. Even for myself, fighting climate change is frustrating and it's hard, and we got to depend on other people to do it, right? Well, this is something that we can do. We don't have to write to the governor. We don't have to, call the president. We could start these gardens right in our own yard and have an immediate positive effect on the wildlife. I have a tiny little yard in Montage that's about 12 feet wide, maybe, and 50 feet long. And it's an industrial area. And I had 60 different species of birds, 20 species of butterflies, hummingbirds, and this little tiny sanctuary of concrete. So if I can do it, imagine what everybody else out there can do.
In addition to the Certified Garden Program, Bergen County Audubon Society offers a wide range of educational and volunteer opportunities for both kids and adults. For more information, visit bergencountyaudubon.org. Up next, we're introducing a new segment, District 36 Hidden Gems. The hidden gem we want to introduce to you today is Richard DeCourt Park. That's right, Richard DeCourt Park. It's a beautiful place to explore local wildlife with miles of trails, right here in Lyndhurst, New Jersey. You've probably seen it going 80, 90 miles per hour southbound on the turnpike, just south of Giant Stadium. But the entrance is tough to find. Now, we asked for an official tour of the park, but the ethics department at the NJSEA decided that their employees couldn't participate. That's okay. So instead, we put together a montage of Matt and I having a day at the park. Enjoy. That was kind of weird. Up next, we spoke with Richfield Park's Mark Olson about participating in the Sustainable Jersey program.
Trenton College got a grant to come up with a program for municipalities to help themselves. And they went out to all the municipalities in New Jersey and asked them to sign up for the program, which Ridgefield Park did. And like most municipalities, we didn't do anything for about 6 years. And one of our commissioners, who is our mayor right now, John Anlian, he said to a group of us that were on the Environmental Commission, you know, we haven't really pursued this Sustainable Jersey, and we should. It's a good program. So we created a green team just to focus on this. It actually had some really immediate results. The very first meeting we had, a woman came and she wanted to start a community garden. This is one of our community gardens. This is our larger one that was originally intended to be a parking lot. This is hops here for making beer. That's what I'm gonna make, Ridgefield Park Pale Ale. There was a lot of things that we were doing already, like drug take-back programs. We got points for, they were easy. But to get to 350, which is silver, is not that easy. You have to do some things that are difficult. And that's the real value in the program. You have to make meaningful change. A young lady said to me, she said, Mark, why are you ignoring all of these arts things? And I said, well, I really don't know what to do. And she said, I'll show you. This is another one of George Cook's sculptures, and it's just put here to be kind of an unexpected piece of art. To get any arts points, you first have to have the creative team. And we had an arts association in the village from the 40s until the 80s. But for whatever reason, the group kind of grew smaller and it kind of faded away. So this is our latest project. It was carved out of a tree that snapped off about 15 feet up in one of the storms last fall. It forces you to interact with a lot of people, which is good. And different groups. You can't do the Sustainable Jersey program concentrating solely on one area. It's just not a way to get it done. This is a rendition, if you want to call it that, of a sacred mountain in Korea. The great thing about this sculpture is the Koreans, people recognize it immediately. We don't have a sign yet, but people that aren't from Korea have different interpretations for it. So art is really what you see in something. And actually people like it this way without a sign telling what it is.
For more information on the Sustainable Jersey program, visit sustainablejersey.com. When Matt went out to shoot with Don at the Butterfly Garden, they also stopped at a small lookout area hidden away from the industrial section of Richfield Park, where you can actually see nesting bald eagles.
That eagle's nest has been there, I guess, since about 2011. You know, it still gives me goosebumps thinking about it. It really does. You know, if anybody would have told me, you know, even when I was 30 years old, that we'd have nesting eagles out in Bergen County again, I thought, no, you know, you were a little crazy. But now, future generations, kids could come out and watch the bald eagle again. You know, the challenge now is past generations that helped bring them back. Now the challenge for future generations is to make sure they stay here.
3 pieces of legislation passed in the 1970s made this possible. The Clean Water Act helped bring back their food source. The Endangered Species Act empowered our state government to actively protect and reintroduce the bald eagles. And finally, banning the pesticide DDT made it possible for the bald eagles to reproduce. Long story short, people took action, and now we get to enjoy places like DeCourt Park, and we can watch bald eagles flying over Overpeck Creek. As Don put it, there's not many places in nature that are better now than they were 50 years ago. But the Meadowlands is truly an incredible success story that would have been unimaginable to New Jerseyans half a century ago. This work is never over. There are new threats to our environment. After DDT was banned, chemical companies began to introduce a new class of neurotoxins called neonicotinoids. These new pesticides were sold as more selectively targeting harmful insects and could actually be integrated into the plants through seed coating. Over the past 2 decades, however, scientific studies have begun to demonstrate that these new pesticides are not as harmless as chemical companies want us to believe. There is significant evidence linking neonicotinoids to the collapse of the bee population, the extinction of aquatic life, and many scientists believe that they pose a long-term threat to our food system. For all these reasons, I'm working with colleagues in the Senate and the Assembly to introduce a partial ban on neonicotinoids in New Jersey. In our next episode, we're going to cover this topic in detail and take you inside the process on trying to pass a piece of legislation. Special thanks to Don Trino and Mark Olson. Thanks for watching, and it was nice to meet you.